and it's moving, as you can see. And I'm just going to bring it towards me now. Hi there. I know that you're having a little trouble seeing me right now, but this video is about video lighting. And I'm talking about a brand new light that does RGB, it's portable, and it's quite creative. As a matter of fact, I'm using it right now. It's called the Colbor W100 Wonder Light. And it can do wondrous things for me and for you if you're a YouTube creator. Okay, we're back. So what's so special about this W100 and why am I so excited about this light? It's just a light, right? No, it's not just a light. This is a professional video light. And I know what you're thinking, well, he's got studio lights. They got to be professional lights. Yes and no. So these particular lights are in fact studio lights. They are softbox lights, but they're not as good as what I have in this box. And I'm going to explain to you what the difference between this and the existing lights that I have and why this one, even though it looks smaller, is so much better than the ones that I have. And that's what's so exciting, because this is professional grade lighting. And as you can see, it has a certain kind of effect. And if I wanted to add a little bit of RGB lighting behind me, I can do that too. So before I go any further, Colbor did send me this light out. It was actually my request. I wanted to test this light because other people have tested their W100 bicolor light, but this particular one does RGB as well. And that means that it will do red, blue, green, or I can change the color. So I'm in the app right now, and the app is very easy to set up. And it also has NFC, near field communication. So if you have NFC on your phone, you can link it that way. It's got a little button on there. And if I go into color and I switch it, so now we're into red. This would be like a yellow. Now we're into green, light blue, dark blue, and this is like a pinkish, color. You can control the hue, the saturation, and the intensity. If I go into effects, we've got fireworks here, and this would be fireworks. And that's why I wanted the place nice and dark, so I had to make sure I shot this at nighttime to make sure that we got it on there. And then we've got some pulsing, and this is like a pulsing effect. And as you can tell, it's interesting. Now, I don't know if the TV has a different type of effect. It's supposed to be like, when your TV flickers. We've got welding. It does, like, if you want to simulate welding, and it'll simulate welding flashes. You've got strobe, and of course we've got lightning. This would be lightning. Okay. We're going to go back to our standard. There we go. So always remember, pause your last effect and then go back into your existing lighting if you're doing it. So before we get into that, let's unbox this and show you what I got. So we're going to go to the downward shot and put myself in the corner. This is the Colbor light. And as you can see, it is the RGB CW version. Now, the other videos you may have seen were the bicolor version. That means it does warm or cool, but this one is a true RGB light. Now I'm just going to go back to me for a quick second. So the difference between a bicolor light and an RGB light is you can kind of get it to correct problems that you're having with your lenses. So the color science in lenses, and some lenses can be a little bit on the magenta side, and some cameras can be a little on the green side. I have a Sony ZV-E10. I'm going to put that one up right now. And here we go. So I'm looking into the Sony ZV-E10, and I don't know why I'm in the picture-in-picture, but I am. And this is what it looks like. And this camera, because the color science in Sony tends to put people a little bit on the green side. That's what everyone says. I don't disagree with that. It does put people a little bit on the green side. So we're going to go back to the Osmo Pocket camera here. And this particular camera has pretty decent color science. Even though it's the Osmo Pocket 3, it's got better color science in my opinion than the Sony. And you want to know the crazy thing is, it's got a Sony sensor in it. But just because it has a Sony sensor doesn't mean it's using Sony color science. And I'm just going to go to the downward shot. So it's got app control. And I've already tried to put the app on my phone, so let's hope that I did that correctly. This is the card with the QR codes. I'll set that over there. And I also have cords, and I have an official power brick. So really nice. And it's even got this wire here so you can hang it, which is nice. And I've also got a dome. Now this is like a magnifier and a diffuser kind of in one. Now I'm going to explain this a little bit because this needs to be talked about. So we're going to go back to me. Okay, so this is what they refer to as a Bowens mount. This is a mini Bowens mount. So there's a mini and then a regular Bowens mount. And the other one's bigger in diameter. And if you get the other type, you can get an adapter. They sell them where it'll convert the mini to the regular. So you don't need to panic if you only have the regular. You just need the adapter and then it will clip on. They made the mini because this is a portable video light. So this light is considered high-end lighting for a YouTuber. So most YouTubers get very basic, very cheap lighting. I'm guilty of it myself. And this particular light is something that you work your way up to. So as you get more subscribers and you want to have a better look on your YouTube video, this is the light you would get. Now it comes with this Bowens mount, and this is like a little reflector, and it has this silicone diffuser. Now, this silicone diffuser is mainly used when you need an ultra portable setup. In other words, let's say I'm shooting on site and I don't have room for a big softbox, or I'm doing like a street shot or something like that. That's what this is for. And you would simply just put this silicone on there, and then it just kind of like wraps over top. And that's what it looks like. It kind of gives the same effect as a light bulb in a way, because it spreads the light evenly, but over a wide area. It's not going to give you a hot spot. In other words, if I took this off, it's just like the flashlight effect, a really hot spot in the middle, but this diffuses it a lot more than that. It's very similar to that little Ulanzi light that I have, that I showed you, that it's got a very similar silicone type. So it's a tiny version of that. Now we're going to go back to the downward shot, and I'm going to pull out the light. And I'm going to take out the box and set the box aside. And this is the light. So you can tell right off the bat that this is not your typical video light. It has a USB-C power supply. It has a DC input power supply that you would plug the other end of this into, which goes here into that spot right there. And it has another type of input for power supply here if you have like a V-mount battery, that sort of thing. It's even got straps, so you can strap this around your neck. It's got one there, one there. So this here is a protective cover. So you need to remove this when you want to hook on any of the Bowman's mount attachments. Do not throw this away whenever you're storing the light. This is how you store it. So I'm going to go back to me for a sec. So as you can see, it's about the size of a mirrorless camera. It's got a little wheel here, and it's got a little dial here, and it's got a little display over here, and it's got a button up here. Okay, so I'm just going to go back to the downward shot. The button is right here. This is, you know, if you're going to control Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, that sort of thing. This is your intensity, and this is another setting over here. So I'm going to turn this on, but before I do that, I have to take this off. Now, my only complaint about this is that you see this little button up here? That's your release that you pull down to get this off. It should be a different color, because if you didn't know what that was, you're going to try and force this off. So I recognized it by the spring underneath. So I pull this down, and then this turns like so. And I'm just going to go to the downward shot, and then you pull it off like so. So then you let go of that. So when you want to put this on, it just clicks on like so, and it's locked. And then you want to take it off like so. You want to put on this, you just put it in, and it's locked in place. And it's that easy. Okay, that easy. And by the way, this button here also has, you can push it in, and your power button is over here. Lots of buttons. And it's got an app, so you can control this remotely. It has quarter 20 down here. Just go back to the downward shot. We have quarter 20 thread here, quarter 20 thread here, quarter 20 thread here. And so you got all kinds of different mounting points for this thing. So I'm going to plug this in and show you what 100-watt cob lighting looks like. So if you're not familiar with cob lighting, it stands for chip on board lighting, and it's very, very bright and powerful. It requires cooling fans because it can get really hot. And without the cooling fan, you can literally burn out the chips. Now, the thing with LED lighting, the other reason why you cool it is because if you don't cool LED lighting, you can actually lose the intensity. In other words, it won't be as bright. It'll start to flicker and come down. And you don't want that, especially in a professional light. You need your lighting to be consistent and perfect at all times. Any type of flicker could mess up your white balance on your camera. It could mess up all kinds of things. So I'm just going to plug this in. Plug this little guy into here. Then I'm going to undo this part here. And it's very exciting, very exciting. So just to let you know, in my research and travels, the gaffer, the guy that does the lighting, is one of the most underrated people on a movie studio set. So the cinematographer, he can get an award if he does a good job. But the gaffer doesn't get anything. He'd only get recognized as a good gaffer by a cinematographer. In other words, if he does his job well, he'll be well sought after. He'll get some more jobs. He'll get more money. But he doesn't get any awards or official recognition that I could find anyway. And I think that is a shame, because we have a lot in common, me and the gaffer. We're both blue collar, we're hands-on. He's grabbing giant lights, you know, like the lights he's working with. Some of them can weigh 1,000 pounds or 2,000 pounds. Some of these lighting rigs that they're using are very, very heavy. They don't just do movies, by the way. Rock concerts have to use gaffers, you know, if they make music videos, that sort of thing. Gaffer is a very important person. Okay, so I'm going to go to the downward shot, and we're going to turn this on. I'm just going to, there we go. So it says Colbor. I'm at 100%. It says 6,500 Kelvin. So as you can see, this is very, very bright. And now I'm just turning it down. Oh, by the way, if you click on this button here, I can go 0, there's 25%, there's 50%, there's 75%, there's 100%. Let's turn it down to 25. And then over here, I can change the Kelvin. So this would be 5,600 Kelvin. So that would be the same as daylight. So that's like a sunset, right? And it's got presets in there. And that's like, you know, different times of the day you can simulate. So that's what the Kelvin does, okay? It matches the Kelvin in your camera. So you're trying to match the Kelvin in your camera, and that's 5,600, okay? The reason why it's matching so well with this camera is because it's also set at 5,600. So as you can see, there's your display, and it's going to give you your settings there. One would be for your color and your temperature and your brightness, and then to get out of that you have to hold down this button, and then it goes back to Kelvin mode, and then you can go back to your 5,600 Kelvin. Like it's very easy to switch back and forth, and if you have the app you can navigate it even quicker. More quickly, I should say. Very comfortable. It's not even heavy. It's very light. 100 watts. Yeah, unbelievable. 100 watts in that little thing. Like, I don't think people understand how much power is in this little tiny box. Now, if I take off the diffuser, okay, and by the way, that's not warm, then you've got more of the flashlight effect. So I'm going to go to the downward shot, okay, and there is the difference, and that is at 6% brightness, okay. If I click on it and I go 20, that's 25%, that's 50, 75, it's washed out. It's washed out. So this particular light is also portable in that you can run it off of a battery handle. There's a battery handle available from Colbor to use with this. The other accessories that you can get for this is you can get a softbox head for this camera. So this is the softbox that I got for the light, and this is what it looks like. And this is the motorized camera dolly. I'm just going to activate that now. And that's the motorized camera dolly. And I just got it plugged into the existing adapter. And there's the light. And it's moving, as you can see. And I'm just going to bring it towards me now. So now the light is coming towards me. And I'm just going to go back to me. So because I have good lighting, I've got the DJI Osmo Pocket 3 on the active track, so I can move around a little bit. you can do all kinds of different effects because this has a built-in gimbal. I've got this so it can move around, you know, if I want to get a different shot. And I've got the lighting so it can move, so I can have a different type of dynamic shot if I wanted to. I can have the light and the camera move. This is an extremely portable setup, as you can see. And again, I don't even have to plug it in. You can get a battery for this and have it even more portable that I could take it outside and have lighting. Let's say I was doing some filming and I wanted to follow something with a light. I could do that with this setup at a very low cost. Okay, so I've turned the light down to, this is 25%. Now this is kind of more of a mood light. 50%, 75. Okay. So I've adjusted the light to 25% because this gives that mood I was kind of looking at. And I just wanted to show what this light is capable of because, again, this is not your ordinary light. So why is this an important light for a YouTuber? Well, it's because of the portability of it. As a YouTuber, we need to be able to go from location to location. We're not always trapped in our studio. We need something that can travel with us. We need something that is small. And this is definitely it. You can pack this up in your camera bag very quickly and easily. It's not going to be a problem when you pack this up. It is designed for portability. It takes up no more space than a regular mirrorless camera. And it is so powerful if you were doing a documentary where you needed a lot of light and you can't bring a lot of lights with you. In other words, you can't bring multiple sets of lights with you. You can only bring one light with you. This is probably going to be your guy. I learned about lighting the hard way, trial and error. So would I recommend this light? Yes, I would recommend it because it is very accurate. It's got a very well-designed app. You can pick. So if I pick this one, then this one matches this one. I just pick it and you're done. That's professional, okay? You need to match another light. Let's say I had this one set up to like a blue or something. I can match it. Let's try that. Let's just try that. I'm going to set this one to blue. And then I'm going to look at, I'm just going to hit retry. Now it's at blue, okay? And I'm going to pick it. And then it will automatically set this one to match the intensity of that one. If I go to color, and then I go here, and then I go, now it's looking, and then I say pick. This one just changed to blue, okay? So I'm gonna go down to the downward shot. So now this one's on blue to match this one, also in intensity, because it said hue 201, saturation 86%. Just gonna go back to me for a sec. So I know that I was talking into the downward shot. So, but yeah, you can adjust. It's so configurable. It's just crazy. And you can repeat certain scenes. So if you had to stop filming and then go back to it and you wanted that same look with that same amount of light, you've got your settings saved and it allows you to just go back, boom, 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 set the settings on the camera, set the settings on the light. You can't really do that with the cheaper lighting. It doesn't work. You know, when I set up this light to do this shot, it did not take that long. I did not spend hours and hours setting up this shot. I simply put it on my DL400 motorized camera dolly. I got the Osmo Pocket 3 here. I got the light. This is actually a good companion light for a DJI Osmo Pocket 3. It's also a good companion light if you had a DJI Action 5 Pro. So one of the things I'd like to talk about too is that if you have a camera with a smaller sensor, lighting is extremely important, because the sensor in the camera is going to get very noisy if the lighting isn't done properly. So having a professional light when you have a camera with a smaller sensor is almost a must. So just to let you know, there's two Bowens mounts. There's mini and then a regular Bowens mount. This is a mini. Now, if you by any chance get a bigger softbox and it's a regular Bowens mount, don't panic. You can get an adapter that goes from mini to that size. The reason why they designed this with a mini Bowens mount is because of the portability of it. I guess the main thing is that a professional light cooperates with the camera, and a non-professional light doesn't. A professional light will make your camera look better, and a non-professional light will make your camera look worse. A professional light will help hide the problems with your camera or the deficiencies of it, and a non-professional light will just enhance them. So that's why you get something like this. I like cameras with small sensors because they're inexpensive, they're feature rich, and they can give you a decent picture quality. But the issue is the sensor size. And the one thing about small sensor cameras is light. So if you pair a small sensor camera with a good light like this, it saves you a lot of money from having to go out and buy a more expensive full frame sensor camera. So I guess you have to ask yourself, you can get away with worse lighting and have a $4,000 camera, or you can look into a DJI Osmo Pocket 3 and have better lighting. And I can even do little tricks with it. So that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I've got more videos to come. I got some more interesting things on the way. So take care, be safe at work, and I will see you at the next video. Bye.